Genuine Dialogue by Ogulnick. From his book Leadership, Power, and Consequences. Based on much research into power, leadership, and communication, I stumbled into what I labeled genuine dialogue and began to build a whole case for better communication skills. It was new and enlightening to all of us, and in the process, those of us lucky enough to work together, grew together. There is a vast difference between what most of us consider dialogue and what I call genuine dialogue. Conversation between most people is loose and without fixed and agreed upon rules, so it can often end up feeling that there was little benefit to the time spent talking and listening to each other. Let me compare genuine dialogue to the rules essential to sports games. What would baseball, football, basketball, etc., be if the rules were loose or non-existent? The game would not exist. I compare this to the differences between just having a conversation and experiencing genuine dialogue. Although repetitious, knowing and agreeing to the rules essential to make genuine dialogue work are few. The participants must be present with each other. They must respect each other and listen to what is being said, instead of building an argument against what they think they've heard. Finally, to ensure that the speaker knows they have been heard and understood, the listener needs to repeat in one's own words what the speaker has said. So what you are saying is. When this takes place, the listener is now candid in their response. What makes this work is the acceptance of the listener and the speaker that agreement is not asked for. If the speaker or listener expects agreement to result from genuine dialogue, they need to lay their expectations on the table from the beginning. Compare this to most of our conversations with others. We enter them fully expecting agreement or that our position is the correct one. It was my first discovery when I began to work with leaders throughout the country. I was initially employed to speak to the issues of staff and leader relationships. As stated by the leader requesting my services, the problem was the staff and their relationships with each other. Instead, what became most apparent was that the problem was the communication style of the leader. This invisible exercise of power was not invisible to their staff and me. Genuine dialogue and leadership. So, are you a leader? Do you want to be one? If you are a leader or aspire to be one, I suggest you look at yourself in the mirror and ask, am I myself, or am I an act? The best leaders excel at being themselves. For you to be an outstanding leader, you must set outstanding examples to those you lead in as many ways as possible. Whenever you interact with those around you, your behavior and words must be authentic. Always be aware you are a role model to those closest to you. Just as importantly, you must serve your followers if they are to serve you. Also understand the followers who serve you do so for a variety of reasons. Therefore, being authentic, caring, and respectful in your actions and interactions will increase the likelihood they will serve you as well as you serve them. Good leaders nurture their followers so they not only grow, but meet and ultimately exceed their potential. Of course, we have all experienced leaders with no sense or desire to serve anyone other than themselves. These are those who love the power and influence they can exert over others. Those who follow this leader do so for many reasons. Some are attracted by their own love of power, whether directly or by association. Rarely can they accomplish what they are truly capable of, since they remain solely for their own benefit. So, for good or bad, it does not matter whether one seeks, takes, makes, or is given the role to lead. The demands on all leaders are identical when it comes to influencing the behavior of their followers. The raw necessities the good leader must possess are attitude, behavior, and the ability to communicate with those they lead. Conversely, the bad leader who lacks these qualities, and who either underestimates or does not understand their importance, is left to ponder why problems and difficulties with their followers persist. An exemplary leader also recognizes that leadership exists within any group with a common goal or undertaking. Among these are those who lead or seek to lead, but there are also others who are reluctant to step into a leadership role. They are potentially capable of leadership, but prefer to only do their job and fulfill their responsibility as good team players. Usually these people are outstanding at what they do, including having excellent relationships with those whom they work and live with. Although they might not accept taking on any leadership roles, they serve and support those close to them. By their actions and words, they already possess the authentic attributes of leadership. A good leader would do well to recognize and reward that individual, as it benefits the organization by fostering initiative and inspiring like behavior in others. Leaders are defined by their actions and words, both good and bad. Those close to them can clearly see and know them for who they really are, regardless of what the leader believes themselves to be. Interacting with powerful individuals on a daily basis makes it impossible not to know them, sometimes better than they know themselves. They are not kings who can hide behind their elegant clothes. Instead, whether or not they choose to be transparent, they will reveal their true selves, and in the end will reap what they sow. I believe leaders emerge in every group endeavor, and that leadership is a natural phenomenon. Without talented leaders, humanity might not have been able to survive. It was leadership that made it possible for people to live in groups. Good leaders, bad leaders, and those who follow are dynamic roles which constantly change as people emerge from among us to fill them. Each of us possesses these qualities, whether from natural propensity or learned behavior, as they are a foundational part of the human experience.